All right, welcome back from that break. Let's dive into our special discussion segment now, where we'll be looking at the economic insights. And of course, we're looking at the state of our economy, and we'll dive deep into the heart of Nigeria's economy landscape with a focus on the recent electricity tariff hike. And of course, we are going to be looking at its impact on the economy, and we will be ensuring that our guests help us make sense on the discussion. Joining us virtually from Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, is Jimmy Oko. He's a senior lecturer with Shaka Polytechnic. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Jimmy. Okay, you need to probably check your sound. Are you there, Mr. Jimmy?
Very much. I appreciate you for having me.
Okay, walk us through. Just recently, the NERC has actually said that there's going to be about 200% increase in our tariff hike, in our electricity tariff. The increment, does it really make sense to you as a person, as an economist? Is it what we need now at this moment?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to express my opinion. The truth is that it's not even, I think it is a total admission failure in the aspect of the government, a silent admission of failure of the government, not knowing exactly what to do, not even showing the sign to have understood what the average Nigerian is passing through. The truth is that, irrespective of how stable an economy is, it is always an odd experience for somebody to be talking about increase of price. Because what necessitates that, in the first instance, illnesses on the economy. For instance, if you want to talk about to be very specific on the hike of electricity tariff, one would want to ask what is the reason for that. All of us, we also understand that the government itself had seen how difficult it has become to cope with the rising costs of operation of doing this. Even the government itself is coming to say we are no longer able to cope. So the cost of providing the very plenty and epileptic power that we have is even unbearable on their part. And therefore, the only thing they can do just now is make the already dry cow, which is the average Nigerian for now. It is quite unfortunate that at this time we have a government, our persons in government who see difficulties and run away from going through the good route to provide lasting population, keep looking at the citizens, how to collect more from them to cushion the effect, to enable them cope with what they ordinarily supposed to do. The idea is this: you travel around some other countries, take care. There's a very minimal difference with that is added over time. But in Nigeria, it is not like that. So somebody is talking about increase from over 60 naira to over 200 naira, over 200% increment. And somebody is going to provide justification that it is not going to affect every consumer. What makes the consumer? If you say the idea is that you want to deceive the people by saying that it's not going to affect all of it, it's only affecting people who have at least 20 hours of the supply per day. But that cannot be true, because whatever it is, even these people you call batch A or whatever you call them, that you say is going to affect more, at the end of the day, it is the mathematics of multiplying the rate unit they consume. So if it is like that, it means that even me that have the electricity for just 30 minutes a day is not going to affect me. It's still going to affect me, even though it's going to affect me to the tune I am consuming. It is quite decryable. I think at this time, the government ought to be looking at what is the best way to the cost of production, the cost of operation. That is what the government is trying to run away from. To shift the burden to Nigerians and make Nigerians suffer more.
Okay, we are still battling
with the fuel subsidy removal. And of course, the government is now still saying there's increment in tariff hike, electricity tariff hike. Will this affect small, medium-scale businesses? Will it affect the entirety of business? Will it have a way of increasing the GDP? Is the government looking for means to boost our income as a nation? Jimoko, before we quickly bring our barrister team on board, Jimoko, help us out with this.
Clearly, we see that it is going to have negative effects, because even as we talk about the issue of subsidy, the effect it has created, what we are trying to do, you see prices of goods and services have gone more than times 10 over a very short period of time. People have been complaining. What Nigerians have been passing through for the past few months is not news within the Nigeria context alone. It has gone around the world. Everybody knows what the average Nigerian has been going through for the past couple of months. So if you are saying, what is when you say production and services, when you talk about businesses, they rely on electricity. So if you are saying the costs they pay for electricity is going to go up, and the cost of fuel has gone up, just look at the businesses we have in Nigeria. Almost all the businesses rely on electricity. Either you go by transport, or you put on the generator to produce your things, to provide things, to store your product, or you rely on the electricity for storage and all of those ones. So in other ways, these two things are not supposed at this time to be combined together to fight the businesses. As a matter of fact, it's going to weaken the businesses, and it's going to worsen the already inflationary trend that is bedeviling Nigeria at this time. So it is quite decryable. Not at this time. We should be talking about how to increase it. The government should be looking at there's any way the cost of production has become too out of control. The government should be looking at to also buy a silent subsidy in that regard for just a short time before they are able to control the cost of production. But the only problem that we are having now is that we have persons in government who seem not to have a clue of how to control the rising cost of production. That is our problem.
Okay.
So it is not going to add anything but issue of GDP. It has nothing to do with the GDP. I think I want to use this opportunity to, please pardon me, to use this opportunity to quickly say congratulations to the CEO of Airpeace, who has only done something within a whole lot of years that is going to affect the GDP of Nigeria by working so hard to take their airline operation to international scene. And the call right now, we should continue to call on the government. If they are ready to save this country, they should be ready to protect Airpeace right now, protect the CEO, protect the country, because right now, other countries of the world who want to cripple Nigeria so that they can exist, so that to cripple Africa, they are not happy with the development which the young man has brought to the country, and they are going to do everything to fight against Nigeria. And that is the only thing in recent time that I have seen that is going to positively affect the GDP of Nigeria, not about increasing tariff.
Okay, that's a good one. Of course, we all celebrate with the CEO of Airpeace talking about Alan Onyema. That's a good move. Having direct flights from here to UK, here to US, and other part of the world. It's a good one for an individual private company. We also have Barrister Tim joining us virtually, Tim Iyobosa Esquire. He's also joining us. There's this saying, or it's a song lyrics that said, whatever goes up must come down. But in Nigeria, it seems whatever goes up doesn't come down. I would have wanted Barrister Tim to help us make sense of this. How do we now look at the impact of this hike on household budgets and the standard of living for ordinary Nigerians? Barrister Tim.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me there? Okay, good.
We can hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me start by saying that the current administration, right from 2015, when the APC government took over the helms of affairs in this country, they don't have policy, they don't have direction, and they don't even have any blueprint on how to run the economy or run the entire country. First of all, the administration of Bola Tinubu, first of all, is relying on IMF advice. If you watch IMF advice and World Bank advice from even the 90s, from the 90s to now, if you look at it, if you go down history, you discover that what happened to us in 1986, 85, 86 during the SAP program was as a result of Babangida administration adhering strictly to the IMF program, and that led to SAP, and SAP actually destroyed the totality of the economy of this country. And President Bola Tinubu has also come to power, and without having any blueprint or policy on how to run this country, he is relying on IMF. The first day he came to power, he removed subsidy on petroleum, and that has actually affected this country negatively. Look at the inflationary trend and what is happening to the current workers or even generality of both the manufacturers and those who live in this country. Now, we have not been able to absorb that removal of subsidy on fuel. Now, he's coming again to remove subsidy on
electricity. Electricity tariff.
If you look at, hold on, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go on.
If you look at the privatization of the discos in Nigeria, federal government retain 60% of distribution. We know generation and transmission also are privatized. We understand, but federal government still have percentage in this three strata of generation, transmission, and distribution. So, what is the government doing as far as what the government, the people who benefit from the government of the day, especially the administration of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu? Subsidy is well implemented all over the world, even into the Western world, up to the United States, even up to the United Kingdom. There are some certain things the people, the populace enjoy about subsidy. So if you want to remove the entire subsidy from this country and the people are not going to enjoy anything about this subsidy, please, we are not saying you should not remove subsidy, but you have to phase out these things. You don't just come. How can you increase for over 200% of subsidy? Let's forget about their jargons. What they are saying that there are people who have been affected, those who are in Band A, because those are just a strategy. As far as I'm concerned, that jargons that are speaking nonsense, that are speaking jargons. If you're telling me that those in Band A will pay over above 200%, and those in Band A, who are those? And they're saying those who receive about 20 hours
power supply a day, yes.
Yes, a day. Is also getting 20 hours power supply a day? For instance, is the airport that is supposed to, are they getting 20 hours power supply a day? So what they're trying to say is just to cajole us so that we accept what they're saying. If the manufacturing sector, you want to increase the tariff, manufacturing sector, who affect whatever they are manufacturing will also affect us on the long run. Who are the receiving end? The people who receive the increment in their product. We affect the common man. And if you look at it, since President Bola Tinubu came to power in May 2023, he has practically removed everything that Nigerian populace are enjoying.
Okay.
Now, you also know that salary has remained static for those who are on public sector. Salary has remained static. Now, how do you want these people to survive. When you said you are paying 30,000 minimum wage, and a bag of rice today is going for about 80, 90, 100,000 naira. Now you say even the minimum wage cannot even buy a bag of rice. How do you expect these people to survive? And you say you want to fight corruption. No, you are breeding corruption.
Okay.
That is the highest way to breed corruption.
Okay,
so please, Nigerians, President Trump should not be playing with the security and the welfare of Nigerians by moving subsidy and obeying strictly the IMF advice.
Okay,
he's going to lead this country into doom.
Timi Yobusa, we'll get back to you in a moment. Let's quickly get to Jimoko, who is also joining the conversation. Jimoko, as an expert, in what ways does the electricity tariff hike intersect with other economic challenges facing the country at this point? Inflation is there, unemployment is there. Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, they are complaining that they have not been having it that easy. Help us make sense of it.
All right, thank you very much, sir. The issue of the electricity tariff that we've been talking about, there is something we call...
Just hold on, just hold on. Timi Yobusa, please just help us mute yourself. If you can mute yourself from your end, then when we get to you, you can unmute yourself so that we'll not be having this interjection from your end, please. All right, go on, Jimoko.
Right. Okay, there's a concept we call the multiplier effect, which shows that the minimum increase or changes that we experience in a particular variable has the capacity to a large effect in a very in a wider sense. The issue of electricity, just name it. What do we do in Nigeria? What do we do as human beings? Or in domestic that has nothing to do with power? There's hardly anything. There's none. So if you are going to provide water for people to drink, you need electricity to pump the water. If anything, whatever it is, you must rely on power. So if you are saying such a very responsible government, if you are in a clan where governments are responsible, where government are very responsible, things like that, they are referred to as social amenities, which means they are things that affect almost everybody. Hence, the government must make sure that it is affordable to all. Irrespective of your social class, you should be able to have electricity because it is the basic thing of life. It's what we need to do anything. Therefore, in the aspect of businesses, you see that when there is an increment, this is going to get the multiplied effect on what they do. First of all, businesses are going to now start struggling how to cope. Where do they get the loan to be able to cope with the heightened cost of providing things for consumers? When they are able to do so, even if they, though it's very difficult, you understand that many businesses do not have such liability assets. They do not have that. They are not able to get where they take such loans, especially the small and medium scale businesses. They do not have that. So for those, if those that do not have it, means they are gradually being forced out of the business. And for those that have the access to take loan to cope with the rising costs, because there is occasion by heightening the electricity tariff, it means that you do not expect them to produce their things or provide their products or services and sell at the same rate.
Okay.
Prices, the inflation we have been talking about is going to, it has only been the very lowest part. Even the 33% inflation we talked about for food has been kind of a play. So we are going to see the true reality of inflation soonest if the federal government does not desist from this.
Okay, let's quickly get to Timi Yobusa now. Timi Yobusa, if you're still there, what measure do you think the government can take at this point to mitigate the adverse of the effect of the tariff hike now on to help us sustain the economy? Because to an extent, from what Jimoko has said, that it's going to see so many businesses go out of go into extinction. So what should the government do at this point to support the economy? We can hear you.
Yes. First of all, I think in tandem with what you have just said that many producers are coming to go out of the production, and there will be loss of job, and the inflation will also come into this country. So, like I advised the president in my previous fora, discussion on that fora, that I have told the president that even the subsidy removal that the decision he took on the 29th day of May 2023 is still affecting this country negatively, that he still have the power to go back. I am not saying you should not remove subsidy. You phase out subsidy. If you phase it out, you allow the economy to stabilize, allow the people to stabilize before you take the next leap of removal of subsidy. Yes, when you are phasing it out, you discover that it will not affect the country. But being an ignorant about how the country is run, as far as I'm saying, the president does not have any blueprint or policy or any vision for this country.
Okay.
That is just taking the advice of the IMF and the World Bank, hook, line, and sinker. That is to show that he does not have direction. But I want the economic team to actually sit down and look inward and consider Nigeria, because if you look at it, Nigeria is the capital of poverty in the world, that we live even beyond $1 per day. So if you don't put all these things into consideration, you are creating a chaos that this country will just, like you said, Chief Obafemi Awolowo said that this country is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, ready to explode. With the decisions that the current administration is taking, please, they should restrict their footsteps.
Okay.
The issue of removal of subsidy from the power sector is not right at all.
Okay.
Right. We are not yet there. Let's first of all stabilize the economy on the removal of the fuel subsidy.
Okay, thank you.
Until you do that, anything contrary to that, you are heading to do. This country will lead to something else that I cannot do today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, team. Quickly, Jimmy Oko, just 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to respond to this. Can we ever come out of poor power supply in this nation? Is it possible?
Very, very possible. The thing is this, no matter how difficult the Nigerian situation has become, it's still very simple to get out of it. It is matter of making the right policies. The right policies are going to turn around Nigeria. Even this issue of electricity we talk about, if the government, for instance, says, like my colleague just mentioned, the issue of restriction of private participation in the provision of electricity. If that barricade is removed and you allow people to freely come in and participate, you know what those states suffered when the Osishomo power stuff came on. So if you allow private investors to fully participate without unnecessary limit, I tell you, this is a thing of the past. It happened in telecommunications, so it can still happen in the
Thank you so much,
electricity.
Jim. Thank you so much, Jim. I'm afraid we don't really have luxury of time again, but we'd like to have you guys again so that we can have more time to extend the front line of the discussion. Thank you so much, Barrister Yobosa, for joining us, and of course, Jimmy Oko, all the way from Shaka Poly here in Edo State. Well, this is the much we can take. We'll be seeing you on the next one. My name is Daniel Praise. Osedeba, may have yourself a blessed weekend ahead, and bye for now.